I noticed when I was in Senegal, I noticed this, and I talked about this on Twitter. I asked, when I was over in Senegal, and I'm all over the place. I'm literally just going everywhere. I'm all over downtown Dakar, just and some of the little rural places here. I'm in a lot of Dakar is not that big, but I mean not Dakar, but Senegal is not that big of a country. It's not really that big. But I noticed something. I rarely saw elderly people.
This is something that is also common in Uganda.
What's going on about this Afro think tank? I'm hearing about it on the grapevine that Tariq Nasheed, for some reason, took some weird shot like at Africans, talking about how he was in Senegal and he didn't see no elderly people. He liked to chop it up with elderly people and all that stuff. And then he brought up Nigeria, and then people started doing videos about it. And since I'm in Nigeria, I figured I should speak on it, right? Anytime I hear like little shots, little things that he likes to insert with his little xenophobic hate group, as a Pan-African, I got to counter that, right? So if Tariq Nasheed had any actual friends in Africa, right? Because the thing is, he don't have no friends, right? He goes to resorts. He goes to like designated tourist spots, and he's wondering why he don't see no elderlies walking around, right? Now, here's an example. I live in Washington, D.C. If I go downtown Washington, D.C., where all the tourists come in when they want to go see about D.C., you're not going to see a bunch of elderly people walking around. Why? Because they're elderly. They're old, right? Usually the youth and young people are the ones running around trying to look at stuff. Old people done already seen it. They've been there, they've done that, right? Now, in Nigeria, old people live in a village, all right? And they're old, right? So this whole 65, who's doing this data, right? The data, the information that these white people disseminate to these fecal brain dissimilus, right, is old data back when white people were using chemical and biological warfare along with propaganda to start wars that caused a lot of Africans to die early, all right? Like, i.e. diseases that they pumped in African communities. The same diseases they pumped in African-American communities, by the way. Keep in mind, America's foreign policy is the same domestic policy they have towards African Americans. So all the domestic policies that they have towards African Americans, putting drugs, putting guns, doing chemical experiments, diseases and bacteria into our communities, it's the same thing they did on an international scale to our brothers and sisters in the continent, right? So that is old, right? Look, if I walk out here, I guarantee you I can find somebody that's about 100 years old. All right, there are old people everywhere. You see in Africa, right, this is the difference. See, in Africa, people own their homes. There's no mortgages. There's no outrageous debt, right? People who you consider poor here are much richer than the poor people in America. America don't own shit. Americans don't own shit. We don't own our houses. We own mortgages. We own bills. All right, we're slaves to corporations who attach us to bills that we pay for a lifetime because the interest rate is like the chain links that continue to link. Every time we try to get away, they just pull us back, right? So if you see old people in America, it's because they're at work, all right? Because you can't retire. I mean, I retired, but I had to almost die to retire, right? Everybody ain't trying to do all that, right? So in America, just like most old people in the house, being taken care of by social services and things like that, but in Africa, they ain't got no damn social services. Most of the world don't have social services, okay? They just don't have it. So who takes care of them? Their children, right? Like in Japan, China, and Africa, old people go back to the village where they own their compounds and they own big swatches of land where their children and their neighbors plant food where they eat organically and they live for freaking ever. Do you know how old? Listen, you come to Nigeria, you come out to the village, these people are just walking around, just having a good time. There's old people everywhere. And I'm telling you, these Nigerians live forever. All right? Because right now, the old people are living a better life than they did. Their parents did back in the day because at that point, they were being neo-colonized, right? They were dealing with the British, the French. They were dealing with the results of white people in their rampaging through the continent, right? So, of course, wars, famine, and AIDS and Ebola and all kinds of shit white people done did to try to eliminate us, right? That shit has somewhat of an effect. So, of course, people, 65 or something like that, may be the average lifespan. And here's the thing. If Tariq Nasheed was intelligent, right? If he was actually intelligent, he would know that the African American community got pretty much the same life expectancy as many African countries. About 65, 75 years old. In America, we're so stressed out. We die of heart attacks, diabetes, cancer, stroke, just like white folks. White folks dying too. Ain't nobody healthy in America, all this bullshit food we eat. Even if we think we buying organic, it ain't organic. That's how messed it is. We're forced to eat foods that kill us, give us cancer and diabetes. We dying off left and right in America. Over here, shit. Everything's organic in the village. But if you go to the city, like any major city, you don't see a bunch of old folks walking around unless they're forced to work. And fortunately for Africans, especially in Nigeria, they retire pretty early, right? They do their thing. I think it's mandatory retirement around 60 or something like that. If they even work that long, right? Then they come home to where they ain't got no bills because they're a big ass house that they own, even though we consider them to be poor. And when you think about the village, you think about poor shit. These people got acres and acres and acres and acres and hectares and hectares and hectares of land that they sitting on with they big ass compounds that got 3-4 goddamn houses on it and shit. And these old folks is just chilling. They wake up, right? They walk around the village and go talk to their friends they have known for 70 goddamn years, right? And they just live their life. They live a nice, peaceful, calm life way out in the village, way far away from the city. Nobody wants to live in a city. When you old, you want to retire. And in Africa, when they retire, they legitimately retire. That means they not running into the city to do nothing. The old folks don't even have to go to the grocery stores. Them young folks do that. Ain't even gotta be their damn kids. It could be somebody, their neighbor's kids or a goddamn random kid walking down. Listen, you could be walking down the street, even I'm 42, right? At my age, I can right now, me as an African American, I can walk out here and the first child I see, I can have them run to the store and go grab me something. I'll give them a couple bucks so they can grab them something too. They'll go and do anything I want. If I need a young kid to go all the way downtown, right, 30, 40 minutes to go pick me up something from the grocery store and come back, guess what? They're going to do it. Give them a couple ducats, they're going to do it. These old folks, they actually retire here in Nigeria. And I believe it's like that in most of Africa. There's there's old people everywhere. All right. And of course, there's more children. You see, that's what I'm talking to. The half-truths that people like Tariq Nasheed like to spread. Now you got the rest of foundational black Americans running around using that half-truth that Tariq Nasheed told, right? Because he purposely insert ignorance, right? That's why he's the enemy. Because of shit like that. And try to sound all nonchalant about it like, oh, yeah, it's just something I observe. You see, if Tariq Nasheed had real African friends, he wouldn't be staying at a resort. He'd be staying at his friend's house at the compound where he'd be getting taken care of. That's how you travel in Africa. That's how real people go to Africa for real and got real relationships. They don't stay in hotels. It would be disrespectful for an African American to stay in a hotel if they got African friends in that country. Their African friends would not allow them to stay at a hotel because their African friends will bring them to their house where they'll be taken care of by the family in the community. And if he actually went out somewhere outside of the tourist areas and not just freaking hotels owned by white Western corporations, right, then he would know that all the elderly people are out there in the village living their best life. That's what's happening. And all the young folks, like young folks everywhere, are trying to get to the city so they can get to the bag. Every city on every goddamn country, the city is filled with a bunch of young folks trying to get to the bag, moving and shaking in the concrete jungle, right? While their parents and their grandparents are chilling in the real jungle, in paradise. So yeah, listen, man. Stop listening to people like Tariq Nasheed. Don't know what the fuck he's talking about. He been to all these African countries, probably made one real African friend that he can go stay at their house. He ain't made one real African friend that can take him go see the real Africa, not the commercial Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous. But so anyway, look, there's plenty of old people. They old as shit. 90 years old, still walking around. I don't see no wheelchairs. All these old people can walk around wearing their traditional, very comfortable African attire. Just walking around, having it. Matter of fact, my bar that I've been owning and operating for 7 years, full of old ass geezers getting drunk, talking shit about how things used to be back in the day. That's how I get a lot of my information. A lot of the shit I know about Nigeria is because at my bar, I got a whole bunch of old people, old chiefs, old upper class, middle class, and lower class senior citizens who my bar specifically caters to. My bar, I don't have young folks in my bar. I don't have no, I literally, if anybody been following me, when I was showing you my bar, I told you that I made the bar for the elderly of the community to have some place where they can sit back, relax, have a couple drinks, and not have to be with the young whippersnappers. Because just like any place else, none of these old people want to be chilling with the whippersnappers. They don't play Afro beats, okay? They play juju music. Okay, which is basically go-go music, but here. That's why y'all notice I always throw go-go in there, because juju is J-O-J-O. Sounds just like go-go music. It's just the African. I would say go-go is the African version of juju music. It's literally same pattern, same cowbell, same everything, minus some piano. Unless you order a band and the band is using piano, right? Which I've done before, throwing parties for people in the village. So yeah, old people definitely exist because I make all my money from the elderly. Literally, all my money comes from elderly people spending their elderly retired dollars in my bar, drinking up the place. So anyway, that's all I gotta say. It's Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.
The fuck up, O'Shea. Have you been? See, this is the problem that I have sometimes with the black folk. Okay, even when they've traveled, some of them, not all of them, some of them lack an understanding of their surroundings and what is around them. Any major city globally, Shanghai, I've been to 54 of them. Shanghai, Beijing, London, Paris, Lisbon, Sub-Saharan Africa, Accra, Burkina Faso, Ouagadougou, Nairobi. Majority of metropolises and big cities are occupied, including New York City, is always occupied by younger people. It's fast-paced, it's expensive. If you're on a fixed income, living in a city is too expensive. It's not a decent place to retire. And the same dynamics work for Africa too. Most people retire on the farm. Most people retire on what we call family homes. So these guys are trying to have a conversation about life expectancy. My dad lived till he was 72 years old. My mom is 73 years old this year. My grandma lived to about 100 plus years old. The presidents in most Africa, well, let's talk about Paul Biya, 93 years old, president of Cameroon, okay? Robert Mugabe, Nelson Mandela, all these guys hit, some of them late 80s, early 90s, Bishop Desmond Tutu. There's so many people in Africa that live past 100 plus years old. And they actually lived longer before all these guys came into contact with us.
In Uganda, I think the average age for somebody in Uganda is like 16 to 17. Kenya's like the average age of 21, 22. So he's talking about no older people in Senegal. Let's continue.
I didn't see too many elderly people when I was in Dakar in the urban area. I didn't see one person over the age of like 6.
Yeah, you're an idiot. That's what it's supposed to be. In the hustle and bustle of a metropolis, older folks are not checking those places. Most Africa retires at 60. That is what these idiots don't understand. Okay, that is a better quality of life. In Africa, most African countries, the retirement age is 60. Most of them get a big package and they move on to their farms to live in the villages, or they live in what we call our community houses. Okay, your children take care of you in Africa. We have what we call a sense of African communism. We don't rely on the government to give you a pension. You take care of your mom the same way your mom took care of you. So in my case, I'm my mom's pension. Me and my two other brothers, we are our mother's pension. We make sure that her house is fully built and furnished, and we send her an allowance every month that she can live off of. Between the three brothers, we make it work, and she's having a very decent retirement. And that is true for most Africans. That's what we all do, okay? We don't rely on the government and the systems to give us that decent retirement. Your children will take care of you. There's nothing wrong with that. That's our system. But these idiots don't understand that, okay? Because they're so reliant on government that they have no idea that they are not seeing other people in the cities. They think they are not seeing them because they died off. No, they've not died off. They're living in the farms, in the villages, in their communities where you don't go to because you're only visiting for 3 or 4 days. You got no idea what it is.
Like 60, 65. Not one. I just didn't. I didn't. People thought I was exaggerating. No, I didn't see any person who could be like 60 or 65. Damn sure didn't see nobody 70 or 80. No, I didn't see him. In Senegal, yes, in Senegal. This is the thing. Okay, then I start talking to some people. I said, oh, okay, this is a thing.
But why is it a thing? We're going to find out.
I said, okay, most of the continent is full of kids.
Yes.
In Africa. Yeah. And it's like that really all over Africa, especially West Africa. Most of the continent is full of children. I just did not see too many elderly people. I did not see and that was strange to me. Because when I go places, I like to see and chop it up with the black elders because I like to get game from them. I like to find some of the elders so I can sit down and chop it up with them. That's part of foundational Black American culture. We show respect to the elders. We chop it up with them and all of that. But the reality is, especially in Nigeria has the lowest life expectancy rate in the world.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So he's talking about Senegal, then he moves the attention to Nigeria. If you know how life expectancy is calculated, they will look at, you got to consider the regions that have some turmoil and some fights and some wars. And they'll take those regions as part of the computation, which kind of drops the life expectancy rate in Nigeria. But here is what they don't want to talk about. And I'll show you something, because this is what we do here that they cannot do. All right. So this is what you're seeing on the screen is the life expectancy. I don't know if I can blow this up. All right, there we go. This is much better. All right. So what you're seeing on the screen here is the life expectancy of some countries in Africa. All right. Mauritius, 74 years old. Cape Verde, 74. Seychelles, 73. Sao Tome and Principe, 70. Rwanda, it starts to drop through into the 60s. But the first 25 countries have a life expectancy right about, out to let's just be average, right about 64 years old. Okay. Tariq is talking about Nigeria here, which is 62. According to current data. He lied about it. It's a 50 something, but it's 62 years old. But look at this. This is what they don't talk about. The numbers you're seeing on my screen, if you look at what I say, this in statistics, I like to always look at trends. Are they making progress? Are they doing worse off? A lot of the life expectancy for most African countries in the 80s was horrible because of HIV. Those numbers have come down significantly due to HIV drugs and therapeutics. Diseases like malaria that used to kill a lot of elderly people no longer kills elderly people. That has also been taken care of. Healthcare expansion has taken place across most of sub-Saharan Africa. So the trend is in our favor. Is it better? No, but it's getting there. Especially when the diseases get more sophisticated, like cancers, there's a little bit more struggle. But luckily, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of those diseases because of our natural habitat and our foods not being poisoned with chemicals. We are we don't have a lot of those issues that the West does when it comes to certain diseases. So I expect our life expectancy trend to improve over time, and the data suggests that it is, and I will show it to you. So here we do everything with data. I will show you that I will talk about the trends. Life expectancy in Africa has shown a strong upward trend. So the life expectancy in Africa has shown a strong upward trend, increasing by nearly 10 years. That's huge. 10 years between 2000 and 2021. Within a 10-year span, the numbers have improved almost 10 years. All right, because if you don't have much and all of a sudden you start, investing into health initiatives, you can correct much faster. This significant improvement is driven by better child survival rates, increased access to antiretroviral therapy for HIV, and improved malaria control. So these are the two main diseases that really plague Africa. HIV, which can really be controlled with PrEP and a few more interventions, condom use, good sexual hygiene, and malaria, which a lot of countries are starting to completely eradicate, right? Because it's only caused by a specific species of mosquitoes, which is the Anopheles mosquito. So Africa has an upside. They can get even a few more ages up on the life expectancy rate. Roughly the average in all of it, if you even it out, it's about 64 years old. All right. And we're like, oh, this is so horrible. Well, since Tariq is talking about this, let's look at the same statistics for blacks in America. All right. It's decreasing. It decreased by 6 years for black men since 2014. Okay. It's going down. This is the most advanced country with the most advanced medical technology in all of the world. All right. With the best doctors from everywhere, including theta doctors. All right. And if you look at the trend, it's going down. All right. It is going down. The average here for black men like the Tariqs is 66.7. It's only 2 points higher than their African counterparts. This is what I've been saying. These conversations are always like we are all at the bottom, but who is more at the bottom? This is all this is always about. It's not like who is trying to advance to the next and who is trying to do extraordinary things. These guys are picking on the Africans because they know that they can't do it with their own counterparts in their own country. You live in America. This is America. Why are you worried about the rates for other black people in the Caribbean and in Africa who have nothing to do with you?
Ain't nobody trying to argue with you all damn day, bro. Shut the fuck up. Damn.
Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. Free Sudan. Boycott diamonds and gold. We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan.
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.